Welcome to the Director's Cut podcast, a part of StoryTown Radio Show. In this podcast, we will feature stories that didn't make the final cut for the live show, but they are still excellent stories and need to be shared. This story was submitted for the August 2024 Back to School Radio Show. Storyteller Guerry McConnell wrote this story about her own educational journey. Without further ado, in her own words, here's Guerry, with a little assistance from yours truly. Guerry, I understand that your education in the first 12 years was all over the place, depending on where your family was living that year. I know your father was not career military, but y'all moved every 3 years or so.
Yes, Daddy was just restless. In my first year, I attended 3 different schools. Only one was when Daddy was with us. The end of World War II gave him an opportunity to finish his medical degree in the Army, and he was sent to Italy to serve in the Army Medical Corps. While he was there, Mother and I and my sister Lynn lived with her parents in Decatur, Georgia, where I started first grade. During that year, my grandparents sold their house. We moved to another part of town, so I went to another first grade. When Daddy returned home, we moved to Augusta, Georgia, and my third first grade, Mount St. Joseph Catholic School. We weren't Catholic, but my parents believed that I needed personal attention and discipline to get me focused on school. My teacher was Sister Lillian Joseph, and like all the other nuns, she dressed in the long black habit with the white trim. Today, if I smell the powder she wore, vivid memories come back. I loved my uniform. Blue plaid pleated skirts with blue or white blouses, and every day Mother braided my hair.
You also told me that the rest of your grade school education was a sort of multicultural experience, although it was always in the Southeast. City schools, private schools, public schools, mountain schools.
Each one had a distinct personality, and the most distinctive to me were the mountain schools. We lived in Highlands, North Carolina every weekend, every summer, and twice year-round during my 2nd to 4th grades and 6th to 8th grades. The first time I went to school there, it was an old-fashioned 2-story building with a wooden roof, wooden shake siding, oiled wooden floors, and pot-belly wood-burning stoves for heat. The bathroom were latrines built in the lower floor of the building. When we came back, there was a brand new 1-story brick school with running water, tile floors, a cafeteria, and a gymnasium. That building was new in 1952 and is still used today. There were about 200 1st to 12th grade students, and most of us rode buses since the Highlands School served the whole county. Our bus drivers were full-time teachers, and sometimes the principal drove. The mountain kids, boys and girls, mostly wore jeans and overalls, but sometimes the girls would wear really nice print dresses that were made from flour sacks. The flour companies competed to make the prettiest print. My sister and I were only allowed to wear dresses.
What were some of the rules you had to follow, and what about discipline? What are some of the incidents in Highlands School that stick in your memory?
2 of the high school girls went on an adventure with some boys from Georgia who were driving a cabbage truck. It was a big scandal. The next Monday, there was a bulletin board set up at the entrance of the school, posted with cartoons of the girls riding on top of a cabbage truck. In another instance, 2 girls were suspended for smoking on the school grounds. Boys were allowed to smoke behind the building, but not the girls. Their daddy came to let our principal know what he thought about the girls being suspended, and ended up hitting the principal in the face and breaking his glasses. The principal made a point of only being out a week to get the stitches where he was cut around his eyes, so the students would know he would stand up to a bully. I don't know if the father was charged with assault, but he should have been. Some teachers kept a large paddle hanging on the nail at the side of their desk, mostly for punishing the boys, or they sat in the corner. One thing about a small school in a small town, you had to be careful what you said to anybody because you might be talking to somebody's relative.
Thank you for tuning in for the Director's Cut podcast, a part of StoryTown Radio Show. Check in next month for more stories. StoryTown is supported by the Tennessee Arts Commission, Trivia with Buds, the Silver Raven, Gary and Sandy Degner, Mountain Empire Cremation and Burial Services, and of course, the Wild Women of Jonesboro.